Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Friday, May 22. With the hurricane season around the corner, Barbadians will soon be in a better position to prepare for impending weather systems. That's because the Barbados Met Services is upgrading to impact-based forecasting, which will allow for the dissemination of real-time data. Acting Director of the BMS, Sabu Bess, made the announcement this morning during a Zoom meeting where the features of IBF were explained to members of the media. He says the system will be able to provide information on what to expect and how to prepare.
When we issue a forecast, be it fear, be it a watch, be it to be aware, or be it a warning, it's coming with a likelihood percentage. How likely is this is going to happen? So the public, the media can see that percentage of the likelihood of this thing actually occurring. And if it's a low percentage, that tells you there's a little bit of uncertainty maybe in the development of the system. And so as time go on, you keep watching to see if that likelihood increases. And if we get elevated warning or we make adjustments. And so it informs the public, one, the likelihood is low, so that means there's a level of uncertainty about the feature. Maybe, it's not developing well, there's circumstances out there that are impeding the development of the system. So I can understand, okay, the forecaster he's not putting high confidence in this. But when more data comes in or the guidance and all in agreement that this thing is going to happen and is getting a lot closer, then the confidence increases, and then the public, the media, everyone understands, hey, this thing is really serious. It's close to 100%. It's red. This is going to more likely unfold.
Forecasters predict that this hurricane season will be above average. The renowned Colorado State University predicts there will be 16 named storms, 8 of which are likely to develop into hurricanes. 4 could become major hurricanes. Here's a closer look at how the impact-based forecasting system works.
The impact-based approach for weather warnings is designed to enable effective communication of potential impacts so that timely actions can be taken to reduce disruptions to society and to prevent harm to the public. It combines the impact of a weather phenomenon with the likelihood of that phenomenon taking place. With impact-based forecasting, the Barbados Meteorological Service, BMS, will produce a matrix for each phenomenon that can lead to hazards to society: rain, wind, severe convection, storm surge, and others. Each matrix shows the potential impact from minimal to severe and the likelihood of its occurrence from very low to high. The progression in color from green to yellow to orange to red alerts emergency management and other users about increasing levels of preparation and necessary actions. It is important for forecast users to know how to interpret impact-based matrices. The information that they provide supports preparations and actions for emergency management and other critical users, as well as the general public. The position in the matrix is just as important as the color. A yellow warning in this cell shows that the forecaster is highly confident and expects only minor impacts. However, a yellow warning in this cell shows greater uncertainty, perhaps because the storm is still a few days away, but the potential exists for severe impacts. The color and position in the matrix and how that evolves as the storm approaches are important for the decision-making process.
For the second straight day, members of the Social Partnership and government were meeting at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. A major talking point is a proposal floated by Prime Minister Mia Mottley that would see public servants losing a portion of their salaries that will in turn be invested in bonds to be redeemed at a later date. Union leaders said it's a matter which must be carefully considered, but any adjustments to salaries will hurt. Barbadians have been complying with new regulations which require them to have a permit to burn rubbish. Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard says since the Fire Service Fees Order 2020 took effect on April 1, the Fire Service has received 17 requests for burn permits. Of that number, 3 were approved, 2 declined, and 12 are still under consideration. The Fire Chief noted that the persons usually granted permission are those seeking to clear agricultural land. He, however, reminded citizens that they can't just burn stuff for any reason. The cost of applications is $150. Under the new order, permits to burn do not relate to domestic activities among family and friends at their homes, such as backyard barbecues. In today's COVID-19 update, there were no new positive cases today among the 103 tests conducted yesterday by the Best de Santos Public Health Laboratory. As a result, confirmed cases remain at 90. 7 people have died. 13 patients remain in isolation, and the Public Health Laboratory has conducted a total of 4,541 tests.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, churches in the Bahamas appear set to resume services, but with strict guidelines. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis suggests, while they are proceeding cautiously, it's a good move.
I believe there are different components of healing. There's healing, as we know, in terms of health, there's economic healing, but most importantly, there's spiritual healing. And I would like to see the churches open as quickly as possible, but I'm guided by the health professionals. I'm in discussion with the health professionals, because if the certain family islands have been liberated or freed, then the question should be asked, why shouldn't the church likewise be included in that? So I'm in discussion with that, and with respect to the churches and those given family islands, of course they must follow social distancing and whatever else, and the protocols. The Christian Council President, Bishop Fernanda, has been providing us with drafts of their protocols and the way forward, and those protocols have been sent to health, and I'm hoping that we can have some tweaking, amendments, etc., so at least those so-called sterile islands would be able to commence their spiritual healing.
On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has declared churches, mosques, and synagogues essential services and has threatened to override governors who refuse to reopen them this weekend.
At my direction, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is issuing guidance for communities of faith. I want to thank Dr. Redfield and the CDC for their work on this matter and all the other work they've been doing over the past, what now seems like a long period of time. Today, I'm identifying houses of worship, churches, synagogue, and mosques as essential places that provide essential services. Some governors have deemed liquor stores and abortion clinics as essential, but have left out churches and other houses of worship. It's not right. So I'm correcting this injustice and calling houses of worship essential. I call upon governors to allow our churches and places of worship to open right now. If there's any question, they're going to have to call me, but they're not going to be successful in that call. These are places that hold our society together and keep our people united. The people are demanding to go to church and synagogue, go to their mosque. Many millions of Americans embrace worship as an essential part of life.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.